Oh my god, I should have been like leaning over my mic while I did that. Why did I do that? My back hurts now. Oh my fucking god. Oh, there goes the monetization, whatever. Oh no, I don't make the 5 cents a stream. This stream's, well, okay. So the weird thing is, right? By default, I have to like click like monetize to monetize my stream. I.e., if I like just leave the stream as it is, fair enough. All right, you know what? Let's just start. I'm probably gonna finish case 3 and then like do half a case 4 or something. Yeah, can watch in the back end or whatever. All right, let's do it. My voice is kind of sore, by the way. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I'll probably take a sip of water between this and then the ending of case 4. Also, my eyes. Everything hurts. Work hurts. I'm gonna wait for the stupid alarm to stop going, though. Okay, I think the alarm is done being a dick. Oh, I need to stop starting soon and just start. Okay, let's go. Game time. Let me turn on my phone, actually, so I can watch and then potentially chat with the stream or whatever. Oh my god, I'm so bad. YouTube, not YouTube Studio. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right, let's roll. Investigation time. If I can't get permission to investigate the crime scene, then the truth will be lost. Hold it! Hold it! Hold it! Okay. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten? There's only one thing you should do at a time like this. And what is that? When the people are in a bind, the hero of justice appears to save the day. Look, you just leave it to me. For I am Kay Faraday, the second of the great Yatagarasu. I thought you were a thief, not a hero. The Yatagarasu is noble and is always a thief of justice. That's... Of course! If we have enough information, I can recreate the inside of the haunted house with this. Plus, if we factor in everyone's testimony, you can recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money. We may be able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try. Agent Lang. So you want to use your little toy? Be my guest. Okay, hang on. You're all about to witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Detective Gumshoe, is there a copy of the haunted house's blueprint among the police's reference documents? Yes, sir. We got it just in case we needed it for the kidnapping case. Alright, I'll input the haunted house data then. What is this? Where are we? It's like we're inside the haunted house. Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path to the truth slumbers here. If I can successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive at the truth. Now then, I believe I'm ready to investigate the crime scene. Okay, what should I recreate first? You haven't figured it out yet? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I'm going to make you do all the hard work. Very well, I'd like to inspect the moment in which I was ambushed by my abductor. The two of them were definitely in this place at that time. If I can verify that, it may provide me with a new lead. I had just come out into the hallway after leaving the money inside the dining room. At that time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hall. Eh? What was the badger doing all the way down there? I also thought it strange. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set there for atmosphere. Do you know which badger it was? No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was its silhouette. In that case, I'll guess you just program a badger silhouette in for now. Okay, programming complete. Then I started walking towards the exit. And that's when you were struck from behind, right? Yes. But that's odd. The hallway is a dead end. Where did your assailant come from? There's only one location I can think of. I believe my assailant was lying in wait here. Take that! That doll I saw wasn't really a doll. It was in fact a costume kidnapper. Oh, so he used the costume as the perfect camouflage to blend with the rest of the house. Precisely. He waited until I had made the drop-off and was about to leave. Then, just as he saw me take a step towards the exit, he slid and launched his attack. I can think of no better hiding place than this. Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself. Just don't use it to do anything criminal, Kay. Well, Lance? What are you asking me for? As one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you the chance to confess first. I was one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I did come up to the haunted house, but I never set foot inside. I left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money. He didn't set foot inside. Is he telling the truth, or is this another lie? Alright, then you're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who assaulted me. Yes, I'm sure it was him. Okay, inputting the new info now. Mr. Deacon was the bad badger, right? Since the bad badger has a gun attached to its right hand, I'll have to change it so the weapon is in its left hand. Now to verify the facts of this recreation. When you take a look around, it almost feels more like a house of mirrors. Indeed. Who has ever heard of this many mirrors inside of a haunted house before? Well, at least we know this is the real crime scene thanks to these mirror shards. Hey, wait. These shards, there's something different about them. Oh? The ones we found earlier are thicker than the shards from these mirrors on this wall. And look, there's some sort of design on the back too. The pieces from that costume are certainly different from the other mirrors. What does this mean? Could it be that our pieces are not pieces of these mirrors? You didn't recreate the weapon. Well, I can't exactly recreate something I know nothing about. So tell me, what were you hit with? The attack came from behind, so I have no idea. But I doubt it was someone's bare hands. Okay, then where were you hit? I was hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. There was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious. Ow, sounds painful. Why are you sparkling like that when you say it? It's just your imagination. Now, let's see. I wonder if there's anything in the hallway that could have been used as a weapon. I'm looking for something the culprit could have used to hit you with. Take that! I have it. There is indeed one such object lying there in this hallway. A prop sword. Are you talking about this thing here? Yes, although we did find it at the kidnapper's hideout. Wait, yes, it's possible that the culprit took it with him after using it on me. To leave no evidence behind, right? Correct. It may be worth a more thorough examination yet. Okay, so what test do you want to run in the sword? The culprit was wearing a costume at the time, so a fingerprint analysis is useless. Let's run a luminol test. It's possible that some of my blood found its way under this. Agent Lang, may I ask for your cooperation in this matter? Huh, like I have a choice. Sheena, call the lab boys. Understood. Except for a dab on the left side, it would appear that the blade is spotless. So it must have been the left side of the prompt sword that hit you then, right? Okay, I'll update the recreation with this new piece of info. I won't rest until blah 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 blah. Is this spot somehow connected to blah 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 blah? Finally, I found a clear contradiction of facts about this sword. Except for a bit on the left side, this prop sword is absolutely spotless. However, if the culprit had used his left hand, the blood would be on the opposite side. The opposite side, huh? If the culprit held the sword in his left hand, then the sword's right side would hit. I see, but the blood was on the left side of the sword, right? Which means that he used his right hand to hit you. Exactly. This prop sword has a large handguard attached to the hilt. It would be impossible to hold it with two hands while wearing a costume with such big hands. Therefore, if it couldn't be the left hand or both hands, it must have been the right. I'll change the data to reflect a right-handed swing. Not yet, Kay. There's no sense in changing anything yet. If you change the parameters to the right hand, it'd only create a new contradiction. Changing the prop sword to be in the culprit's right hand would contradict with what?
Take that!
The Bad Badger already holds a gun in his right hand, so he can't hold a sword in addition. Hey, that's right, then what now? If it wasn't in his left or his right hand, it means that the one who struck me could not have been the Bad Badger. Are you paying attention, Lance? Mr. Deacon could not have been the one who struck me, which leaves only you as our primary suspect. Fine, it was me, I hit you. It appears that you lied to me yet again, but see how quickly they catch up to you, Lance. Wait, isn't Lance left-handed? Yes, but that's what makes this deception all the more interesting. He used his right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one to strike me. For you see, firing a gun with one's non-dominant hand is difficult, but that level of dexterity isn't required to swing a prop sword. Okay, please input this new data. The one who hit me from behind was Lance. Or should I say, the Proto-Badger. You've got it. Here I go. Now, we have a faithful recreation of the situation around the attack on me. Alright, all I have to do is examine this new recreation and... And what exactly is so funny, Agent Lang? That amusing little gadget sure packs a punch, right, Sheena? Yes, it was all I could do to hold my laughter in. Hey! Don't make fun of Little Thief, you mean old werewolf! He and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other. You've had your little fun, but now it's my turn. I've sat quietly by listening, but the crude conclusions you two keep spewing don't whet this wolf's appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it displays is whatever information you put in there, right? Well, when you put it that way, your suppositions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm going to let you in on this. There's a trick to this haunted house. And what may that be exactly? A trick beyond what your tiny imagination can produce. Sheena! Here you are. Now then, what do you miss, girlie? Is written right here in this pamphlet. The 7 Wonders of the Haunted House, the Disappearing Badger. What is this? I'd say that someone around here is fond of theatrics. And as you can see, they set a doll down at the end of this hallway for that purpose. Basically, the Blue Badger you're selling is just a stupid doll. How can this be? Guess that throws your whole theory about it being your attacker right out the window. Ugh. But that can't be right. Maybe the culprit hit the doll somewhere. And then he laid down and pretended to be it instead. If the criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway, how could he hide a giant doll? Do you get it now? Thanks to your presumptions. Your logic started off weak and led you to the completely wrong conclusion. Ugh. Now get off your high horse. Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, I wonder if you could please input the new information for me. You don't know when to quit, do you? I can't quit, not until I can declare that I've found the truth. Agent Lang, for the additional information, you have my thanks. Tch, there you go again. We'll see if I care. Okay, I'm updating the recreation now. That looks really weird. Look at how it changed from the blue badger into the proto badger all of a sudden. If the slumped over badger was just a doll, where was my attacker hiding? Well, that's what we're going to find out, right? So come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go! Yes, let's. This recreation can't be right, which means there must be a contradiction somewhere.
Eureka!
Hold on a second here. There is something wrong with this blue badger. Huh? Like what? The way the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake? That can't be. I inputted the image data exactly as it is in the pamphlet. So then why is the blue badger dressed up in reverse? Okay, do you remember what you said earlier? What I said earlier about what? About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors. A house of mirrors? Oh, that would explain the reversed or mirror image. Yes, this blue badger might be nothing more than the reflected image of a real one. Then was the blue badger you saw just a reflection? When I looked down this hall, I thought it was perfectly straight. However, if there was a mirror... Oh, then it would actually form an L shape, right? Precisely. I was deceived. The hallway was almost pitch black. And there was a beam in the way that obstructed my view of the other hallway. Wait, but why build this place like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me. Okay, this house is just another attraction and amusement park. They created a mirror wall for a very specific purpose, one I can point out to you. This was the reason they built a mirror wall.
Take that!
As it's written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction is the mystery of the disappearing badger. You mean they built the mirror for that trick alone? But you said you saw the badger, so it was definitely still there. That was true at the time, however. Doing this allows someone to make the blue badger disappear in a flash. To remove a reflected image, simply move the mirror. First, the mirror was constructed so that it could be moved. Then, beyond where the mirror was, an empty hallway had to be created. Oh, so when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would open the mirror. And when they wanted to hide it, they simply had to close it again. This explains why the other side of these fragments have a design on them. Ah, and if the pattern is the same as the other walls in this hallway, then when the mirror is closed, it would blend in with the rest of the walls. This is the mirror trick that this haunted house employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for the culprit. Huh? How so? Think about it, Kay. There was a place that was outside of my field of vision. The culprit kept out of sight by hiding here.
Take that!
There was a very large blind spot, one I could not see beyond, and it was here. If my assailant hid on the other side of the movable mirror, then you wouldn't be able to see him. He didn't even need to do anything to the blue badger doll. Exactly. All he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the mirror. Wait, hold on. I just thought of something. Yes? Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now, in reality? Since we have a few shards of it, we can probably assume it is. Yes, it most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found these inside the victim's costume, that would mean that the victim was there when the mirror was broken. Wait, that sound. Leave the money and go, now! That sound I heard was most definitely the sound of a mirror breaking. Okay, I'd like you to input some new information. Ah, don't scare me like that. Sorry, but I need you to recreate something for me. Sure, whatever you need. So what do you need anyway? If you could first recreate this hallway, just before I entered the dining room. You got it. Now this, I believe, is how it was right before I entered the dining room. Although, at the time, I thought it was but a single straight hallway. And then I went inside. It was around then that I heard the sound of a mirror shattering. You heard what? Then... Yes, I believe it was then that the mirror was broken. Okay, so then when you stepped outside into the hallway again... The mirror wall should no longer exist. Okay, please recreate that. Got it. Wait, but with the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in his proto-badger suit, Mr. Edgeworth? Huh, that's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway. I think this about wraps it up. Looks like we finally solved everything. No, not yet. An even larger contradiction has now reared its head. Huh? Perhaps you did not notice. But this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. The inconsistency between what I saw and the recreation lies...
Take that!
Okay, take a good look at the end of the hall. Oh, there's no blue badger there. Exactly. The blue badger that I saw in reality is not here. This is the final point on this long chain of logic. The last remaining contradiction. So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right? And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who or what do you suppose it was? I believe this is the real identity of our mystery badger.
Take that!
The badger I saw was in actuality the dead victim's body. Gah! What? Agent Lang, the entirety of my complete logic is my final decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway of the haunted house at the time of the drop-off. And you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking to be the real time of death for Mr. Deacon. No! Maybe it was due to their fighting, or perhaps it was the life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the cause was, the hallway mirror wall was broken. Ha! You were in the house at the time, right? Are you telling me that you missed the sound of a gunshot? There were a variety of sound effects playing at the time. All for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have landed right in. Yah! Now then, I'd like you to recall something for me. Who was it that was with the victim at the haunted house? Yah! Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of his gun and use it on him? Durr! It was you, Lansamano! I'm sorry. It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent right after I hung up with you. He shoved me to the ground and straddled me. I fought back as hard as I could, grabbed his gun, and I shot him. The bullet must have went through his body and shattered the mirror. If I hadn't taken his gun and shot him first, I would have been the one you found. He's a hardened criminal. He escaped from jail. See? That's justified self-defense. My boy was only trying to protect himself. That remains to be seen and will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I leave the rest to you. As if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, arrest these two and get them out of my sight. Wait! I had nothing to do with the murder. The only person you should be arresting is Lance. Dad? Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with the evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are, willing to risk it all. Truly touching. By the way, do you know why I'm really here? And how could I possibly know the answer to such an asinine question? You wounded me. I came all this way from across the sea to see you, you know. You came to see me? What's that supposed to mean? I have a few things to ask you, Mr. Amano, about a case from 10 years ago. A case from 10 years ago. Oh, what's the name that you use here for that case? Sheena! It's known as the KG-8 incident. The KG-8 incident? Oh, so you remember it. Good. Then you'll recall that the trigger in that case was the Yamato Group scandal. Specifically, the charge of an internal smuggling ring. Smuggling. There's that word again. At the time, the person that was arrested as the ringleader was Mr. Amano's very own secretary, Mr. Colin Deveray. Ah, Father. Even though you pushed the crime onto your then secretary, Mr. Deveray, I always suspected that you were involved with the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. Deveray was arrested in place of you, which is why when he broke out, you hid him from the police, right? You hid him in exchange for his silence on your little dirty secret. Now. Please calm down. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. Pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyway for a nice long chat. What the? Who the heck was that? I'll take him down to the precinct if you don't mind. And who the heck are you? I'm Jack Sportsman, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Oh, Jux, thank goodness you're here. Don't jerk me around. This is an Interpol case, so keep your paws off of my suspect. Sorry, but I can't comply. I've got the backing of the prosecutor's office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you could please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Sorry, but I hate prosecutors, the whole lot of you. Guys, arrest the two suspects. Sir. Oh, I almost forgot. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you. Thank me? Yeah, for working so hard to fulfill my goal. Hey, is that any way to thank someone? And what the heck is that supposed to mean? You were so relentless with Lance that you forced Ernest to tamper with the evidence. Thanks to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So how does it feel to bite the hand that feeds you? The hand that feeds me? I'm not sure I follow. It's no use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working for Mr. Romano in the smuggling ring, right? No, I would never do such a thing. What the heck? Arnzel's never wrong. In your prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring. Oh, so Agent Lang suspected my relations with Mr. Romano. That must be the real reason behind his antagonistic attitude. On top of that, you're meant to his Manfred von Karma, right? There were non-stop rumors flying around about forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtroom doors too, are you? The courtroom is a place where the truth is revealed. Well, don't worry, it's not only you. A whole lot of you can't be trusted. Prosecutor never less than 40 years. Every defendant must be found guilty. Fueled by that kind of thinking. Is it any wonder that courts produce nothing but falsities and lies? It would seem that his disdain extends beyond just me. Prosecutors, the courts. Why is this man so angry with us all? Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be so forgiving. So don't you forget it. Please wait. Agent Sheena. Why does Agent Lang hate all prosecutors so? Lang is the head of the long-honored House of Lang in Zhangfa. The heads of all police-related divisions in that country were of Lang blood. Were? What do you mean by that? Aren't they still? They were revered, but that was long ago. They don't hold that sort of sway anymore. And it was all because of the courts. How can that be? A prosecutor once withheld and tampered with the evidence one of the Lang detectives found. That evidence's purity was tarnished and cost the Lang family its honor and trust. But not all prosecutors are like that. Even so, Lang will never respect the court again, or any prosecutor. So Agent Lang is a man who hates all courts and is unwilling to forgive prosecutors. Man, what a piece of work that guy is. Come on, Jim, we better catch up. Yeah. You still gotta deliver that thing to the old man, after all. Detective Gumshoe, I believe it's time we wrapped up and headed out ourselves. Yeah. Are you going home, Mr. Edgeworth? No, I have done nothing but be entangled in one mess after another since my return. If it's alright with you, can you drop me off at my office? No problem, sir. Excuse me. Yes? What is it? Thank you very much. Ah, it's okay. No need to thank me, pal. Just doing my job as a detective. I guess I was fooled pretty badly by Lance. Oh, cruel fate. What's a woman to do when she's been hurt by the one she loves? And to think I never realized my father was right there. I never said anything to him. I knew it. I'm a failure. There she goes again, talking to herself. Miss Pops, I wonder if you know why your father participated in the kidnapping. No, I have no idea. Your father died while he was trying to stop Lance. Which means that from the beginning, he had no interest in the staged self-abduction. Wait, then why didn't he... I believe it was because of your presence, Ms. Pops. Me? Lance realized that the two of you were related, which is why he used you as a hostage to coerce Mr. Devereaux into cooperating. Father, as a felon, he could not tell you of his real relation to you. However, as the Yamato family butler, at the very least he was able to watch over you. It was all he could do, but that was the shape of his overflowing love for you. Go on, speak your mind. Thank you very much. You're welcome, although there is no need to thank me. No, Lauren, stop. I mean, this man's so much older than you. Looks like you've completely stolen her away, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to go, sir. Your technique is way beyond the level of a great thief. What are you going on about now? Oh, your deducing skills may be sound, but you have no street smarts. That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't figured out who I am at all. If you haven't remembered in all this time, I guess I'm just going to have to say it. This isn't the first time we've met, you know. Well, what do you mean, pal? Mr. Edgeworth, how do you know this girl? Looks like you totally forgot me too, Gummy. Gummy? Here, maybe this will jog your memories. I promised I'd return this to you one day, remember? That single piece of cloth took me back, far into my past. To that fateful day 7 years ago, when I first met the then-child Kay. And Detective Gumshoe. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna get water. Alright, I'm back. Kay Faraday. The young lady who calls herself the second Yatagarasu. The piece of cloth that she conjured up has taken me back to many years ago. Yeah, that's right. I did it. I killed the guy. But it was the great thief Yatagarasu that told me to do it. I asked the defendant, just what exactly are you trying to say? Don't you get it? I know the true identity of the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu is the man standing over there at the prosecutor's bench. Are you saying that I'm the Yatagarasu? Don't you dare deny it. You told me to kill him when you snuck into the embassy. Are you claiming that Mr. Faraday is the Yatagarasu? That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. Rell, I think we've heard just about enough out of you. Your Honor, please listen to me. I'm telling the truth. You've got to believe me. In accordance with the defendant's accusation, a new prosecutor shall be called to replace Mr. Faraday. This court will be in recess until the new prosecutor is ready. It's almost time for me to enter the courtroom. And so it is that my first assignment as a prosecutor will be as a replacement for a prosecutor who has been accused by the defendant. Edgeworth. Sir. Have you read over all of the documents regarding this trial? Yes, sir. I've memorized everything there is to know. Very good. The paperwork for the prosecutor's substitution is just about complete. Edgeworth, always bear in mind that as your mentor, I, Manfred Karma, will accept nothing short of perfection. I understand, sir. To have the chance to stand in court at such an early stage in my career, I am honored and proud. As I have watched over your studies, I am giving you this very rare chance. Prove yourself. Crush the defendant's pathetic lies into oblivion. Yes, sir. That such a legendary prosecutor will be watching and judging my performance. I have to be perfect in every way. Today's trial should have ended in just 1 minute. Because the defendant was picked up by the security camera, correct? Exactly. The killer had the gall to say that he only killed because he was instructed to do so. Even more outrageous is his claim that the case prosecutor Bern Faraday gave the order. Huh. Faraday is such a fool. He's been cornered by his very own prey. Sir, are you an acquaintance of Mr. Byrne Faraday? Huh. He's a pathetic man who speaks nothing but nonsense. Nonsense? He once tried to explain to me a way of punishing those who cannot be brought to court. Those who cannot be brought to court? That is nonsense, for no man is above the law. Well, there are always a few exceptions. However, there is no reason to even deal with such individuals. A prosecutor is the guardian of the court, one with no obligation to outside matters. Thus, there is no reason to deal with such individuals, I see. Edgeworth, disgracing yourself as Faraday has will not be forgiven. Have no fear. I will not let you down, sir. In place of the accused Prosecutor Byrne Faraday, I'll prove the defendant's guilt. Very good. I've secured an hour of recess for you to prepare to do just that. Show them all the power of Unkarma. So, have you achieved a firm understanding of the case? Yes, sir. I have memorized everything that is written down in the case files. Well then, explain the case to me. I want to see if you really know what you are talking about. Understood. A murder was committed on September 8th in front of the Odopian embassy. The victim, Mr. Dade Mann, was a staff member at the embassy. The defendant in this case, Mr. Mac Rell, was held for questioning the night of the incident as he was deemed suspicious. He was quickly placed on arrest for possession of the murder weapon, a gun. Furthermore, at the time of the murder, the great thief Yatakarasu had successfully infiltrated the Odopian embassy as well. At first, Rell claimed that he himself was the Yatakarasu, but that he did not kill Mr. Dade Mann. I wonder what he expected to gain from such a desperate lie. It's possible that he wants to go down on the spotlight if he is found guilty. There truly is no limit to people's inanity. But I digress. Continue, Edgeworth. Yes, sir. During the trial, the prosecutors were into the security footage that captured the murder. The footage clearly showed Mr. Rell as the murderer. The act of Mr. Rell firing the gun could be clearly seen from the visitor's gallery. Upon seeing that, the defendant retracted his statement and admitted to the murder. I did it because I was told to by the real Yatakarasu Byrne Faraday. Huh. That sounds about right. However, you've forgotten one thing. While this may appear to simply be the murder of a Kodopian embassy staff member, people are actually referring to it as the second KG-8 incident. The second KG-8 incident? I'm very sorry, sir. I fear I failed to study hard enough. Huh. Well, even among the police, it's information that only a select few are privy to. Could you please enlighten me, sir? Sir, what do you mean by the second KG-8 incident? In order for me to tell you that, you must first learn about the original case. Take a look at these documents. This is a 3-year-old newspaper? You have heard of the Yamano Group scandal before, correct? Yes, I have. The secretary of Ernest Amano, the Yamano Group's director, was arrested under suspicion of smuggling. Correct. CCU was an employee of the Yamano Group, and the sole witness to the smuggling operation. It was she who brought the crime to light. However, Ms. Yu was silenced before she could testify in court. Wasn't a Kodopian staff member arrested for the murder? Yes, a Kodopian by the name of Manny Kochin was the suspect. However, due to lack of evidence, the case went unresolved. Lack of evidence? Huh. If only I was in charge of the case. I would have done everything in my power to prove his guilt. To make sure that all criminals are found guilty. My mentor really is dedicated. Faraday was the prosecutor on the case then, and he was as pathetic as ever. Mr. Faraday was in charge of the KG-8 incident as well. That's right. And now, once again, the victim of the case you are currently assigned to was someone who was scheduled to testify against that smuggling organization. And just like last time, the victim was murdered right before he was to testify. You're catching on. The victim was murdered just before his day in court against the smuggling organization. Evidence are occurring almost exactly the same way as they did in the KG-8 incident. So that's why it is being called the second KG-8 incident. Yes. Yet there is one difference between the two incidents. What would that be? The so-called noble thief that is setting everyone to an uproar. The great thief Yatakarasu. Yatakarasu? I better find out more. If it is true that the Yatakarasu showed up at the Kodopian embassy, what could he or she have been after? Humph. No doubt to steal any suspicious accounting records and release them publicly. Or more likely to steal secrets from the Kodopian embassy itself. Since the item that the Yatakarasu stole from there was sent to the police. What was it that the Yatakarasu sent to the police? I don't know the details. Anything related to the Yatakarasu was getting the top secret treatment. Still, I find it very ironic. By returning the stolen item to the police, it was proof positive that the Yatakarasu had infiltrated the embassy on the same day the staff member was killed. Criminals have a way of incriminating themselves, wouldn't you say? That would have to be the first time the Yatakarasu has left evidence behind, correct? Yes, indeed. If you wish to learn more about the Yatakarasu, then I suggest you ask Faraday. Mr. Faraday. He happens to be the prosecutor in charge of the Yatagarasu case as well. He's the prosecutor in charge of both the 88 incident and the Yatagarasu case. Mr. Faraday really has a lot on his plate. What is it, little girl? You're scary, mister. Did you need something? I want to trade these coins with you. A fistful of dimes, quarters, and pennies. But it looks like you've exactly $1. Is this what you want? Thanks! That's exactly what I needed! Could that child be here to watch the trial? How disrespectful for a child like that to be running around inside the courthouse. Does no one have respect for this country's judicial system anymore? The paperwork for the prosecutor substitution is complete. Why do you know how much time there is left before the trial resumes? I'm so sorry. I can have you mobbing with this courthouse instead of protecting in an instant. It's no bother, sir. Not being completely prepared could prove to be a perfect handicap for me. Huff, a proud one you are. You had better collect the evidence from Faraday and prepare yourself. It's time for your debut, Edgeworth. What is going on? Why isn't Faraday here yet? How is it possible the defense is not prepared yet either? Bailiff, where is Mr. Faraday? I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention. Ah, you must be the one Mr. Von Karma recommended. I hear this will be your first trial. I look forward to seeing how you perform. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson. Sir, it looks like the trial is about to resume, however. Yes, it will be all but impossible to prove that witness a liar without the evidence from Faraday. What is that blasted buffoon up to? It's an emergency, sirs! Silence! There shall be no yelling in the sacred hall of law. Bailiff, remove that man from this courtroom at once. Please! Wait! You have to listen to me. There's an emergency. Defendant lobby number 2, Mr. Faraday and the defendant. The two of them, they're both dead, Your Honor. What? What? Stay back. No one's allowed in the crime scene, period. Just who does this oddball think he is? This is becoming quite the hotspot. Isn't she Mr. L's defense attorney? Hey, you! No running in the hallway, pal. And who are you to tell me what to do? We'll never find out what's going on like this. It's time for some civil discourse. Excuse me, but who are you? Detective Turnabout, homicide. I was informed of the situation and came as quickly as possible. So how did you arrive and inspect the body before me? Faraday requested for me to testify in the trial. Plain and simple. Mr. Faraday requested that you be here. I've already contacted HQ about the situation. I've got nothing to say to you, kid. Kid? I'm Mr. Faraday's substitute in today's trial. Therefore, I insist that you take me in the situation. I can't back down here. I have a right to know. I need to teach you a thing or two about how to talk to adults, kid. Is he threatening me? Is he going for his gun? It's just a mirror. How dare he trick me like that? Faraday was stabbed to death with some kind of blade, and he had a gun in his hand. The other man, a Mr. Macrell, was shot and killed. He was found holding a bloody knife in his hand. Was there anyone else who went into defendant lobby number 2? Yeah, that big lug over there. His name's Gumshoe. He was in charge of guarding the place. He's claiming that no one else entered the room. If that's the case, then they must have killed each other, correct? Maybe. Such imprudence. This guy is really testing my patience. Why was I not informed that you were going to testify in court? Homicides aren't my only gig. The Adagarasu case is also one of my assignments. So you were called upon to comment on the Adagarasu's characteristics, in order to assess if Mr. Faraday really was the Adagarasu or not. Well, looks like you just might have a brain after all in that head of your son. Son? I'm not your son, Pops! Do you have a minute? You know, I'm not really into talking to people I don't know. Especially at a time like this. I apologize for introducing myself before bothering you. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I was to take Mr. Faraday's place in court. Edgeworth, huh? Never heard of you. So Faraday substitute is a newbie, huh? I'll have you know, madam, that I started under man for karma. Do not take me for some naive novice. Do not take me for some naive novice. So you're a student of my karma. I should have. That's closer to take giveaway. Just stop right there. These are the garments of the one who gallantly presents the facts. Thanks for the great laugh, but try not to make me laugh so much, okay? I wasn't trying to do anything of the sort. Just kidding, I was just goofing around. By the way, do you know who I am? My name is Callisto Yu. And if you're telling the truth, then we're about to go head-to-head in court. Oh, but of course, I've heard much about you, Miss Yu. Oh, but of course, I've heard much about you. You're a regular Shakespeare. Did I say something funny? I'd like you to update me on the situation. I don't really know anything. Why don't you try talking to those detectives over there? If that's the case, then why are you here? Oh, what's so funny? It's just that the way you speak is so tactless. The person I was going against in court until only a little while ago was just murdered. It's like I could go back into the court and pretending as though nothing happened. That's a good point. I apologize for asking such an insensitive question. It's fine, don't worry about it. And you are? Who, me? Hey, pal. It's common courtesy to tell someone your name first before asking theirs. Ugh, point taken. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a district prosecutor. A prosecutor? I've never seen a prosecutor as young as you, pal. I've told you my name, now would you mind telling me yours? Detective Dick Gumshoe, and just recently I achieved my dream of becoming a detective. More than a dream, it's what I was born to do. Wait. Maybe I should check and make sure I'm not really in some crazy dream first. This detective is entirely too excited to be at a murder scene. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling me what you know about the incident? You know that I don't have to tell you anything, right? I know that, but it would behoove you to fill me in on what you know. Wow, you're a proud one for such a youngster, aren't you? Well, anyway, Detective Bad is the one in charge. So you're just gonna have to ask him for all the details, okay? As for me, I was guarding the door to defendant lobby number 2. So you were on guard detail. Did you notice anything strange while you were on duty? Well, I freaked out when I heard a gunshot, and then I kind of froze. You're a detective and a measly gunshot scared you that much? Then again, I can hardly claim to not know what it's like to hear one at close range. Then Detective Bad came running to the scene. We went into lobby number 2 together, and both of them were lying there dead. Is that everything? Yeah, that's it. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Interesting. Other than the gunshot, you didn't hear a single sound of commotion. Miss Yu, there is someone here who wishes to see you. Who is it? A Kadopian embassy staff member by the name of Manny Cochin. What? What's going on? Detective Bad and Miss Yu's moods just changed all of a sudden. Wait a second. Wasn't Manny Cochin? I'll be right there. It's nice to see you again, Ms. Yu. Why are you here? I have no desire to ever see you again. Now. Actually, would you mind stepping outside for a brief chat? Fine, let's go. Bad. Fun karma? It's been a long time. I knew you would show up. You usually do when the Yatagarasu was involved, and I see this case is no exception. Do you know Detective Bad, sir? Yes. He's like an old bloodhound that never leaves the scene of a crime. If only we get a promotion and move on. It's the crime scene where a detective is most useful and effective. Huh. It's not like I don't know that. Moving on, though, Bad. The man that I just passed by. Was he not the suspect for the KG8 incident? So I was right. Just what is that man doing wandering around here? That Faraday. I can't believe he let such an easy catch get away. Imbecile! I would have proved his guilt in 3 minutes. Von Karma. I think you said enough for now. It's important Ace to speak like that about the departed. Huff. Very well. Back on topic, I'm placing Edgeworth in charge of the investigation here.
Objection!
Papa, how can you place him in charge? Francisca, what are you doing here? I'm here for summer vacation, what else? Francisca von Karma. She is also here on vacation from Germany. She is the daughter of a man from Karma and a student of his who's also junior to me. You're the one who's junior to me, and don't you forget it! You're not completely avoiding the bar examination, are you? Huh. If you were able to pass, then I'll have absolutely no trouble at all. I'll never allow myself to lose to you, never! Why does she always have to be this competitive? Anyway, Papa, are you really assigning Miles Edgeworth to cover the case? Yes, I am. Why do you ask? Well, you know, I'm close to becoming prosecutor myself. And I am 100% confident that I can do a better job than him. It's just like Francisca. She has no problem badmouthing someone right in front of them. Bad. Yeah. These two will be conducting the investigation. What? You want me to let both of these kids loose on the crime scene? Huh. This is a perfect opportunity for them to work on their prosecutorial skills. The crime scene is not a place for children to be messing around in. I'm the one with the authority of this crime scene, Bad, and I will not tolerate complaining. Edgeworth. Francisca. I leave this case to the two of you. Understood, sir. Yes, Papa. I'll go take care of the paperwork now. Remember, I'll accept nothing but a perfect report from the both of you. Do not disappoint me. Hold up, Von Karma. I still haven't agreed to this. Miles Edgeworth. It's been quite some time, Francisca. This will be the perfect chance for us to see which of us is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. Would it kill you to at least say hello? Long time no see. Very good. Just because you became a prosecutor first doesn't mean you can act all proud. She hasn't changed a bit. Miles Edgeworth. As I was saying, we shall see which one of us is worthy of the Von Karma name. For crying out loud. I've been reduced to a babysitter. It looks like Mr. Von Karma was successful in convincing the detective. That's just like him. He never fails. Now, I'd appreciate it if you could quickly run me through the facts, Detective Bad. You're better off checking things out on your own. Very well. Seems like getting help from Detective Bad will be a most arduous task. Ugh. Is the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously? Miles Edgeworth, you should listen to someone until they have finished talking. What are you talking about? I'll only say it one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. A competition? The person that figures out the truth first wins. Huh. So the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name? Exactly. I don't care that you became a prosecutor before me. I simply refuse to hear any more foolish things come from your foolishly foolish mouth. Fine, whatever makes you happy. Can I take that as you accepting my challenge? Once again, whatever makes you happy. Huh. Well then, let's begin the investigation, shall we? I'm going to find the perfect evidence and prettily present it like the professional I am. Convenient to discover the truth behind a crime. How delightfully childish. You kids over there, hold it. Kid? Serves you right, Miles. He just called you a kid. I said kids, kid. How dare you call me a kid as well? I'll do what I please, and I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene. Hey, big guy. You're going to watch over these two. Yes, sir! Detective Bad, sir! Now, do what I say from now on, kids, okay? You better not get in our way, Scruffy. You'll feel the bite of my whip if you do. Then you, prosecutor boy. Let's get your investigation started already, alright? Great. Now even that detective is treating me like a child. Alright, it's time to get investigating. Get a move on, prosecutor boy. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and if you were to call me prosecutor boy one more time, it will be my duty as a prosecutor to look into your monthly salary. What? And what would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was? That's up to you now, isn't it? Really? Sounds good, pal. You're so naive. Detective Bad, may I have a word with you? What is it? It appears that both a knife and a gun were used as murder weapons. Yeah, it does. That leads us to our first question in the investigation. Where did the men acquire the weapons? The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It was a piece of evidence that was presented in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Canopian embassy staff member. But I never heard anything about the knife. Mr. Rell is being held by the police. There's no way he could have brought in. Which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well. Could it have been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented? But then, why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what if? It's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence. He could have then brought it out and attacked Mr. Rell with it. Huh. Maybe you've got a brain in there after all, kid. Ugh. Is he going to treat me like a child forever? It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. Rell first, who then counterattacked. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw from a scene like this. Not yet. I feel that it's much too early to be drawing conclusions already. I must first find conclusive evidence so as to protect the honor of the Von Karma name. There are some plastic bags stacked up on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of a disturbance. Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy. Maybe they were super quiet in their scuffle? After all, I didn't hear anything from out in the hallway, you know? Maybe the plastic bags scattered on the floor throwing us off. The window is open and it's a fresh, flowery scent in the air. Ugh, the flowers in the garden down there are so gross and ghastly. Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change? Well, at least I know where someone escaped from the window, pal. They wouldn't wake up and smell the flowers after a fall from the 3rd floor. Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there are also iron bars on the windows? Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one can get through these windows, right? They thought of everything when they were designing this courthouse. Very nice. Whoa! What is it, Detective Gumshoe? My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal. And perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television like this one. Ooh, let me see here. Wow, this thing is huge! What? You're way too noisy. You're the noisy one, Scruffy. Don't touch it. You'll get your fingerprints all over it. But I didn't touch it. Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. Foundation, huh? Sounds like something that Rookie here needs to shore up on. Looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of Mr. Rell. At first glance, it seems like they must have killed each other. However, using logic, the only logical conclusion is... Aha! What was that outburst for? My detective instinct just hit me real hard. It was Mr. Rell that fell first, see? You don't need a detective instinct for that. But I suppose we won't know much more than that until after I examine the bodies. Blah, 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 granny. Looks like Mr. Faraday died while holding up the gun in his right hand. So he shot Mr. Rel, and then he fell while still gripping the gun. I guess that does seem kind of strange, huh? I mean, why would Mr. Faraday know how to fire a gun? It's not exactly rocket science. Even I know how to pull a trigger. Although I doubt I'll ever need to use one. I hope I never have to fire a gun either, pal. But it sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hands. It appears that the police's screening procedures need a thorough review. Anyway, I should jot down some notes with the handgun in Mr. Faraday's hand. Looks like Mr. Rel died with a knife in his hand. There's some blood stuck on it. And he must have used this as a weapon. Yep, no doubt about it. Was Mr. Faraday carrying this on his personage? Did he bring us a piece of evidence for the trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should jot some notes down about it. Why are there plastic bags scattered all around? Those bags if you keep evidence safe, pal. I know that much, detective. You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal? Normally, I'd be happy when someone compliments me, when it's this guy. Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between the two men? Xana's all back down here, see? I wonder what it could be. If you look closely, this blotching powder resembles an ink stain. An ink stain? Yes, I usually get ink on my own hand when I use my feather pen. A feather pen? I've never seen one before. Sure you weren't just picking it up, pal? Mr. Rel's causes death was being shot, correct? That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down. Death is hard enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone will try to hide the truth. Are you sure they were trying to hide something? I can't confirm Mr. Rel's cause of death was his body positioned like that. Detective Bat, I'd like to examine the bodies in further detail if possible. What's this? You're not able to form a theory with them the way they are? I believe an examination of the bodies is vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you? I suppose you do have a point. Well, hurry up and get on with it. Labby. Yes, sir. You've taken enough photos of the scene, sir. And there you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not. What? Investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective, so don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella. Turn over the bodies for me, will you? Okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir. Gumshoe, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Blah, 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 Cranny. There's something in his breast pocket. It's a fountain pen. Hey, you know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bat is always telling me you should always write your name on everything you own. Yes, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual. Shot in the chest. It takes some guts to fire a gun in a courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet. There aren't any burn marks on his clothes. That must mean... Wait, burn marks? A round grows very hot as it is discharged from a firearm. Therefore, burn marks usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. Ergo, Mr. L must have been shot from at least a yard or two away. Sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal. Apparently, this text has as much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial. There's a knife wound in his chest here, see? I wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. L is holding. Labby. Yes, sir. Verifying now, sir. Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce that the knife Mr. L is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday. Let us now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Rel and fired. However, Mr. Rel managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then the two men fell together where they stood. That is my theory in any case. What a crazy way to go! Still, something about that explanation just doesn't seem right. I believe I now have a firmer grasp on what happened here. There is a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table. And yet, a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during a struggle. In which case, might there not be another explanation as to how they got there? Another reason? I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow. Hey, please get that blood away from me, pal! Detective Gumshoe, whose blood is on this bag? Hold on, let me ask the lab guy. Alright, please hurry. Wait till you get a load of this, pal. It's Mr. Faraday's. Oh, and the technician said they didn't find anything else on or in the bag either. It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence. Okay, if you say so, I leave it in your hands, pal. That splotch on Mr. Faraday's hand. I wonder if it might be the ink from his fountain pen. Ooh, let's ask the lab guy. Detective Gumshoe, I confirm the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from his fountain pen. I see. Good work. You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life. Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand. I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our case as well. Okay, if you say so, pal. I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. No, we can't conclude that quite yet. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there is actually a contradiction that shows there is another possibility. No way, pal. Really? Oof. I suppose I'll just have to show you the contradiction in this crime scene.
Eureka!
Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he is left-handed, and yet the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find it odd that the left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold the gun in his right hand? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the great contradiction haunting this crime scene. Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kind of strange. But how could something like that happen? The facts add up to one conclusion and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died. Someone else? A plastic bag scattered on the floor and a gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person violent and who is serious about keeping the truth from us. Here's the autopsy report. It is probable that Mr. Rell survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from a stabbing. Interesting. It looks like we now know everything we need to know about this case. Are you sure we know everything? Of course. The incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and then tried to kill the defendant, but the defendant fought back and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. There's absolutely no margin for doubt. Do you really believe that to be the truth? Huh? Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you, that you don't want to believe it's true? Ugh. It's alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is. Don't worry, I will. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Rell survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Rell, and Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory.
Hold it!
So you believe that the dying Mr. Rell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday. Mr. Rell became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So the two men struggled, and in the end, Mr. Earl was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound. Can you really say that? It's perfect. What are you insinuating? Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise, so if you could append that statement to your testimony. Fine. They struggled and Mr. Earl used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday.
Objection!
If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Ha! You place so much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. For the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Earl get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right there in lobby number 2. It is not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Earl saw a chance and took it out at some point. So, what you're saying is this. Mr. Earl took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag, and then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Earl after being stabbed. Isn't there something strange in Franziska's statement just now? Wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, really? It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Earl after being stabbed.
Take that!
According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed with a knife. Ergo, he cannot possibly have fired the gun after that. Ooh, you got me. But of course. Well then, if the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Earl attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Earl. Therefore, Mr. Earl must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then they both died. This is the only explanation that makes logical sense, negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Franziska. I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible. Before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Franziska, you've still got a ways to go. What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic? Mr. Faraday died instantly, and the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here in this crime scene is... Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Earl. Then, the wounded Mr. Earl found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot and Mr. Earl died thereafter. If that's the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which their bodies are piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Earl's. Therefore, Mr. Earl must have died before Mr. Faraday. Impossible! Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene that we must solve is... No, not so fast, Miles Edgeworth. What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box, and that it's even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure bounced back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. I'm going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Earl's. The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. It really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. I just know that Franziska's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday had the two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. Earl while holding both the knife and revolver. And then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Earl grabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Earl wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, that is more than possible. Yes, it's possible, but if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got. Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you just said to your testimony. Huh. I don't see any point to that, but as you please. That fact indicates that they attacked each other at the same time from close angle.
Objection!
So you believe they killed each other at close range. Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as it's written on the crime scene notes. Firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder bomb on Mr. Fordy's shoulders. Therefore, Mr. L and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards. Ah! Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The 2 bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance. And with there being no chance that Mr. L moved that far after being shot, that leaves only one possible explanation. But what a completely foolish from a very foolish fool! If I'm not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who? The person that attacked first with murderous intent, that would be... Here in this room, contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus, there can be only one explanation. There was a third person here! It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell, and set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. That third person is the real culprit! Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing. Evidence, correct? Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Can you prove that there was a third person involved in this crime? Of course. If a third person was truly here, that fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. The proof that this has all been a setup, made to look like they killed each other. I'll present it, and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. What is the piece of evidence that proves there is a third person involved?
Take that!
The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand, and the plastic bag with his blood on it. These 2 items point to the presence of a third person. How so? Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground, meaning that someone else must have deliberately spilled them around. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment, there's a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch any blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. Then, by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the 2, they were able to conceal their presence. Ah! Looks like we still got a long way to go in this investigation. Yes.
Objection!
What the heck's up with you, pal? Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest. What? What's the meaning of this? Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates. Don't you dare. That detective claims he was there, standing in front of the door the entire time, but I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie. Ms. Yu, I ask that you please explain that last statement. I'll let His Honor explain it himself. I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the race, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway. What? See, Mr. Bad, so I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie? Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday? No! Of course not, sir! It appeared the one who set this whole crime scene up is that detective, which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles. Ugh. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Was that statement really a lie? Detective Gumshoe, you're now a suspect in the murder of 2 men. Now spit out the truth or so help me. I haven't lied to anyone, sir. Honest. I was really there. I was in the hallway the whole time. Detective Bat, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that is heading up this investigation, am I not? Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy. All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Karma, after all. Therefore, before we take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something. And what's that? What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? I suppose the one thing I'd like clarified is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime. Huh. Motive. Huh. Gumshoe, you got a grudge against Faraday or anything? No, sir. Not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir. Is that a fact?
Objection.
You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe? I'm telling you, I am not lying! The more natural you act, the more suspicious you become, you know. If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Would you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to the flights of fancy, because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation. You're serious, aren't you? Fine, you amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice. It was about a week ago. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there super pale as the Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit." A brand new detective suddenly getting a salary cut. That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation? You totally misunderstand me, pal. No matter how mad I get, I could never hold a grudge. Quiet. We can't trust anything you say. Sir! There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed, per se, but there are some gaps in her logic that need to be filled in. Ms. Yu's perfect explanation may not be so perfect at all.
Hold it!
You call your explanation perfect. Is it not to your liking? Unfortunately for you, it's just not up to my standards. Oh, is there something you want me to clarify in that case? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Alright, you can clear this one thing up for me. I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Rel? His motive for killing Rel? Like I would know. If there was no clear motive for both of the murders, then I doubt this incident would have occurred. Wouldn't you agree? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves? Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. What? But that's impossible. She must know something. Wait. Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh. Yeah, I didn't even do anything and you're already laughing away. Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway. Oh? Would you care to explain your logic? And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation. Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight, or is that a requisite trait for being Von Karma? Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you shut this rude woman up. I wish you'd both be quiet for just 1 second. Oh well. I guess I'll have to explain it to you kids. There's no one out there with the motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rel, who happened to be there, became a witness to Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity instead to look like they had killed each other. I wonder if that's really true. Is there no one out there with a grudge against both men? I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. The second AG incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member. And the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I'm overlooking who is somehow related to them? Ms. Yu, I believe there is someone you overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We are looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. I can think of at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect in the original KG-8 incident, and a member of the Kenobian embassy staff, Mr. Manny Cochin. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Kenobian embassy staff, Mr. Rel, and the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KG-8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that Mr. Cochin has no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, I suppose he might have a reason or two. You cover for me, pal. Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect, make no mistake about that. Perfect evidence, the perfect testimony, these are the only things I wish to hold. But I didn't do it! You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manny Cochin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out. You want to investigate Cochin? You just be wasting your time. And why is that? Cochin was up in the viewing gallery, watching the trial. So I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived. Then the only real suspect we have here is still Detective Gumshoe. I suppose so. No way. Come on, Detective Bad. You've got to believe me, sir. I really was in the hallway the whole time, sir. I never took a single step in this room, sir. Okay, then are you saying there's someone else who passed through the hallway? No, there was no one else, sir. And why should I believe you didn't do it? This one incredibly foolish detective, sitting right in front of a crime scene by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt. I have to admit it's strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes, and if that detective really wanted to prove that he is innocent, you'd think he would at the very least offer up eyes spaced out while on duty or the like. Come on, detective. Time for your interrogation. Detective Bad. Miles Edgeworth, I will go on ahead and report this to Papa. And that, as I say, is that. Right, everyone? Ho! Well, I suppose you should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh? Before we do, Monsieur, there is something I'd like to speak with you about. What is it? So, what do you want to ask me about? Current case of the murder of embassy staff member. I've heard that people have been calling it the second KG-8 incident. Only among you law enforcement types. And what about it? I'd like for you to tell me everything you know about the original KG-8 incident. I'm afraid I can't help you. I don't know anything beyond what was reported in the papers. No, I believe you know much more, since you are directly tied to the KG-8 incident. I'd appreciate it if you stop with the false accusations. Baseless outbursts are useless both inside and outside the courtroom, don't you know? I do, but I also know that I do have a leg to stand on here. You think you can stop making the ultra-serious face in front of me? If you could please stop laughing for just 1 second. I'm not going to make any headway like this. I'm just going to have to show her exactly how related to the KG-8 incident she is. Ms. Yu, I believe that I have proof of your connection to the KG-8 incident. That file is your proof? Very well then. Why don't you tell me exactly how I'm related to the KG-8 incident? Your connection to the KG-8 incident is through the victim. The victim's name is CCU. You know that she has the same last name as you. Can you really still tell me with a straight face that you are not related to this case? Sorry, but we're not related. Whoa. Just kidding. You asked that question with such a serious look on your face that I couldn't help it. Ugh. Ms. Yu, I ask that you please tell me the truth. Alright. I'll tell you everything I know. As you guessed, the one who reported the smuggling activities of the Egg Mountain Group was my sister, CCU. as I thought. And she was killed right before she was to testify at the impending trial by Kochin. Because he was tried once and was acquitted, he gets to live out the rest of his cushy life completely carefree. All because of a lack of evidence. Now, I heard the evidence the victim did exist. What? I heard from Mr. Faraday himself after Mr. Cochin's trial was over. Apparently, a man in black made off with the most important piece of evidence. Then the evidence that had been tampered with. Didn't just like a criminal do something like that? The smuggling ring begun under the minor group by one of his secretaries. They bailed Mr. Cochin out. Turns out they were in league with each other all along. How big was that smuggling ring? Was it a large operation? I don't really know, which is why I wanted to become the lead defense. On this case, the people are calling the second KG8 incident. But I haven't learned anything new at all. I was probably expecting too much, I know. You mean you think this case has nothing to do with the smuggling ring? I don't know what to think. Why did Mr. Cochin want to meet with you earlier? Actually, he came to watch the trial. Apparently, he only found out I was the defense lawyer in the case after he'd arrived. He figured he should say hi and wanted the thing. Looks like you couldn't resolve anything this time either. Too bad. What's that supposed to mean? Oh boy, stop with the scary face already. I'm fine, really. I gave him a good slap across the face. The way she talks about slapping him as she laughs away is kind of creepy. But it's just as Mr. Bad said. He's not related to the album murder. I asked around and people in the gallery claimed that he was in his seat the entire time. Talk about cruel fate. Well, this is about all I know. Sorry, I guess that was so much help, huh? It's not true. I'm sorry I made you recall such a painful time in your life. Edward, you really are too serious for your own good. You really need to learn to relax. We couldn't want you to die of stress, would we? Thank you for the advice. There's no need to worry. I work in my own way, and I will catch this criminal in my own way as well. You'll see. Look at you with your game face on, ready to go. I'm making no such face. Did you know? Laughter is the best medicine, Edward. Don't you get tired of making such a serious face all the time? I'm charged with making sure that all the criminals of this world are found guilty. I have no need for laughs. Here you go, making that face again. Oh well. I've got to get going. I still have a few house errands I need to get to. The KG8 incident and this murder investigation. It is my belief that these two cases are related to each other somehow. Plus that Detective Gumshoe. It's obvious he's lying, even though the lie is hurting his chances. Clearly this case is far from over, but whether or not that detective is the murderer can only be determined once I've completed my perfect investigation. Mr. Von Karma, I swear to uphold your honorable name, or my name isn't Miles Edgeworth. Mm. Oh, I was the live stream, aren't I? Oh God. Mm. Mm. Fun.